everybody? Hope all is well with everyone today. This Curtis with Off the Bench Global. I'm having a great day today. My yesterday, though, my God, I thank God for today. And I thank God that my joy renewing every morning. I love it. But I want to thank God for LC Seegers, Coach Terrell Anderson, David Ballard. I really appreciate everything that you're doing. And thank you for staying active in the community. You guys, listen, I have some content today, and I'm having a great day. And listen, I'm telling you, go get you a fork, spoon, napkin, because you're about to eat today. Believe what I'm telling you. I have my shirt on that I am a preacher's kid, and one of the things that coming up, preacher's kid was looked at, sometimes it was looked at as negative because people think that they have to act a certain way around a preacher's kid. They can't do certain things. But the problem is what we have to do, we have to evaluate ourselves, because I personally didn't tell someone how they needed to act, what they needed to do, how they needed to position themselves around me. It's something inside of you is telling you that you need to correct certain things that's going on with you, But we got to really do a self-evaluation of ourselves. So it's not a fact of being a PK kid or being a preacher's kid. It's more so that correction is trying to take place with you. I remember coming up, as a child, and I was little. Of course, I said as a child. I remember my godfather, Minister Russian. Willie Russian, great man. Oh my gosh, great man. He stayed on chill. Always laughing, kept great energy, wonderful man of God. And I appreciate everything that he's done, not just for me, but for my family. And like I said, it was my dad's best friend. It was like a brother to him. I remember one day I was little, and he came to the door. They normally go play pool or whatever they're going to do, on the weekend. I remember he came to the door, he knocked on the door, and I opened up the door. I said, "Oh, it's just you." And I remember my father coming to me and was like, "What did you just say?" I said, "Oh, it's just Mr. Russian." He said, "Don't you ever say that again in your life." And I said to myself, I said, "What do you mean?" And so he was telling me, he said, "I don't care if he's come here 10,000 times. Receive him as if it's his first time ever coming here." And I didn't understand at that time, what he was talking about, and then later on when it hit me, I said, "Oh my God, I am a preacher's kid," right? My dad was trying to tell me was that don't hinder his praise. When he come into the gates, don't enter, make sure that you let him come in with joy. Don't talk about what he just is like you're trying to make him familiar. You're trying to make him familiar to your situation because that's comfortable for you. It's okay to get uncomfortable. Understand that. It's okay to be uncomfortable. Understand that. Don't hinder his praise. Let him come in to the gates with praise. Let him come in with joy. So it took me a while to understand that. But over time, I learned because I understand that my father was trying to teach me something. I remember, and if I titled this anything, I would probably title this, "You Don't Know Me," right? Because the thing is, I didn't understand. I didn't understand at the time what was being given to me, because I didn't know, right? But over time, if I'm willing, I will learn. And I remember a friend of mine, he was a bus driver. He came to me one day, he said, "Curtis, I like the kids, but, I'm tired of the bus driving, tired of doing this or what have you." And I said to him, I said, "Listen, do you realize that you're the first person that these kids see when they come onto the bus? You can set the energy with that kid for the rest of this day. Because you're speaking to this kid and you're smiling with this kid, when the kid come onto the bus, he's filled with joy. So when he go into the schoolhouse, he's excited, he's happy. And then when he leave, you're telling him goodbye, have a great evening. You know? So when he coming to going back into his house, he's going into his home with joy. People don't understand that the joy that they have, because you're ushering this child in and you're letting this child leave, in joy. You don't know me. Over time, I didn't understand what it is, because we all have that feelings like, why am I going through all these things? What is this that I'm feeling? Why is it that, we always have those why? Why is it me? Right? And then I started to think about this, I thought about, and I looked over my life. And as I looked over my life, and what was revealed to me was that you always had help with you. Curtis, you've always had help. When I was a child, as a child coming up, do you know that my brothers, my God brothers, were Timothy, Michael, and Jonathan? Please catch what I'm saying. When I got to school and I got to high school, Jonathan and I were brothers. We were best friends. Jonathan helped me a lot in life. We worked together. We built together. When I went to college, I met another friend. Even though we went to high school together, we didn't have a relationship like we gained in college. And my best friend was Gabriel. My best friend was Gabriel in college. And Gabriel stayed with me. He stuck with me. He made sure he pushed me. He told me yes. He told me no. That don't make sense, Curtis. That was a brother. We still communicate today. You don't know me. When you do a self-evaluation, you're checking yourself and you're understanding what you got going on and the importance of what you got going on. So if you remember my show one time before, and I talked about I Come to Testify, is we're talking about new relationship. So back then when Minister Russian came into the house, I tried to hinder our relationship, because how I open the door matters. How I open the door into a relationship matters. If I open the door as if it was familiar, oh, it's just you. I'm trying to be familiar with this relationship, so it's easy for me, because I don't have to be uncomfortable with this new relationship. And that's why we have to understand, why would you try to pour old wine into new wineskin? That's what we try to do. You don't know me. We have to understand that it's okay for us to be new, to find out what's new, what's going on in our relationship. Because the thing about it is, if you look at it, like I told you, a show that I had before, why is it that you want a new relationship, Curtis, but you're trying to position her into old ways? You're trying to lay her into your past. Throw that away. Why are you trying to put old ways into a new situation? What you going to do? You're trying to create something that's old, and you're trying to create, and you're trying to pour it into a new situation. The new situation is going to become old. You don't know me. When you do a self-evaluation, you check yourself, you understand, you examine yourself. Like even with Adam. Adam was approached and said, how did you know that you was naked? Adam said, the wife that you gave me. He used an excuse for what position he was in. Adam covered up. He tried to cover up himself. But the thing is, if you're able to confess what you have going on, if you're able to confess, I can work with that. I can work with the fact that you slipped up and you messed up. I can work with that. But what you want to do is you want to use an excuse for where you are. You don't know me. To be able to fix yourself, confess to what you have going on. Admit to it. Admit to it. And see, and that's the thing. We try to make a situation, a new position, into our old situation. I remember going on a date one time, And the date that I went on, I remember it was a great lunch date. I paid for lunch, and I told her, I said, I'd love to hang out with you more today, but I'm on a budget. And she said to me, she was like, oh, no problem. She said, let's go to the movies. She said, my treat. So we went to the movies, and we enjoyed the movies. And the next morning, she called me, and she said, hey, what you doing this evening? I said, I'm doing nothing. So we went to the park, actually. We went to the park. We met up at the park. She asked me a question. She said, hey, was that a test that you gave me? I said, what do you mean? She said, the movie is only $20. I said, no. I told you I was on a budget. She said, but how I used to do my old marriage, my ex-husband, he used to handle X, Y, and Z, and I used to handle this or what have you. And I looked at her and I told her, I said, put your hands like this. She said, why are you telling me to do that? And she put her hands like that. I said, that's me. I'm a handful, right? But I'm going to let you know this, though. Don't try to franchise me. She said, what do you mean? I said, don't try to make me something new into your old ways. Your old ways didn't work out. So you're trying to create your old ways into a new situation. It don't fit. Don't try to franchise me. I'm not a part of your old system. So my thing is right now, we have to ask ourselves, we have to examine ourselves and ask ourselves the question, what is it that I need to do? What is it that I need to change? Because you have to understand this. Why would I try to position my new thing into an old situation, right? Do you know that there's relationships right now, there's marriages right now, that they only put up with the friend or the best friend because it's the only way to get to their husband or get to their wife because their communication is not good? My father has opened up a way that I can communicate straight to him. I can talk to him. We have dialogue. We have friendship. We have a relationship. I understand what he's telling me, and he understands where I am. He knows my thoughts are far off. We have a relationship, a line of communication. See, with Adam and Eve, the third party came in and interfered with the relationship. He made him feel like he had to cover up. So the relationship between a husband and wife, we have to understand that the relationship between a husband and wife, you have to create your dialogue. You have to understand we're one in communication. You can't allow someone else to come in to disturb your ground. You don't know me. You have to examine yourself. Because what happens is, and what happens is, in the situation, how is it that you're in a disagreement with your wife, right? And you leave your house, you leave your home, and go stay with someone else. You go stay with another female. What does that do for your house? What does that do with the communication in your house? What does that do with the relationship in your house? What it do is it causes distraction. And the distraction that it causes, it makes you feel like, what do I need to do to better myself? What is it that I need to do to make sure that the situation is better? So the only thing that person is going to be able to do is try to create a relationship with the person that is more important at that time, with the woman that you went to go stay with. Believe me when I tell you, the woman that she's going to stay with, she don't like you. She don't like you because this is the only way to her husband. She's putting up with it only because this is going to be able to communicate with my husband. You don't know me. Examine yourself to understand what is happening in your situation, what is happening in your position. People try to justify their situation to make it as if it's not the way. Yes, it is. This is why it talks about that mothers will be against daughters, fathers against mothers, all these things in the last days. And then you'll have people that that are looking for itching ears, have itching ears or whatever, because of the fact of the matter is you don't want someone with a father's anointing. Very well that the things that I might see, you don't see. That's why we talked about, would you leave the 99 and go get the one? Because we see the wolf in the sheep clothing, but you got to allow that member to see it. It's hurtful, but at the same time, if they don't see it, they can't testify what they know. Even though that you're on record for telling the truth. Even though that you're on record, after everybody, you try to examine, you would say, hey, God said, are you after my servant Job? He's upright. He's an upright man. You can't change God's word with me. But what people will try to do is they will hear the same thing consistently about you. I am who I am. I am a preacher's kid. God is my father. You don't know me. I'm going to stay consistent. I don't need to cover up and make an excuse. I'm trying to build our relationship. I'm trying to build us together. Because us building together, it makes a wonderful future. But if I make an excuse, if I cover up, it's going to be a failure. I'm trying to franchise us. You don't know me. Y'all stay encouraged. There's more to come. I love you. Y'all be blessed.